Good morning, everyone. So, today's lecture topic is on the concept of atom economy. Now, this is a concept which is very useful in green technology or green chemistry. And today in this lecture, we are going to study as to what do we mean by atom economy. The main objectives of today's lecture are the introduction, then we will study about the principle of atom economy as to what we mean by atom economy, what it exactly signifies. Then we will see a few reactions in which the concept of atom economy has been explained. Then we will see the example of zero waste technology and the benefit towards the environment. Now, atom economy is a unique idea. It is about the synthesis of a chemical product in such a way that the reactant atom should completely get converted into useful products. So as I said that the yield of a reaction and atom economy are two very different things. Because in yield of a reaction, what we calculate is what is the amount of the product, what is the amount of the reactant. So the amount of the product by reactant into 100 will give us the yield of a reaction. But in atom economy, what do we calculate? In atom economy, we calculate that if the total number of the reactant atom gets completely converted into useful products, okay, so the useful product should get maximum number of reactant atoms incorporated into it in order to make a reaction green. In other words, we can say that if a particular chemical reaction can proceed without the formation of byproducts and only the desired product is formed, then that reaction is known as a green reaction. Now, Barry Trost he's a very prominent chemist, and he was the first person who developed the concept of atom economy in the year 1991. Now, because nowadays great importance is given to environmental sciences and towards the concept of keeping the environment clean and green, that is why the concept of atom economy became very significant. As we can see that it came into being in 1991, so that's roughly 30 years. So this is a significantly new concept because since that time, the environmental problems started coming to the surface, and all chemists and scientists start seriously thinking as to from the chemical aspect what can be done to keep the environment clean. Because when a chemical reaction is carried out, there are many aspects to it. We use reactants, which are chemicals, solvents, reagents, catalysts, so many different things. Okay, so and all of them are synthetic in nature. But in order to convert a reaction into a green reaction, it is very important to either convert or change the route of the synthesis or use more renewable feedstocks. And in that particular aspect, that is where, the concept of atom economy comes into being. Now, as we can see that it is a method of expressing the efficiency of a particular reaction in which reactant atoms are incorporated into the desired final product. So as I said that a given particular chemical reaction, suppose we have a reactant A, reactant B, and the reaction gives C and D. Now out of the two products C and D, one will be the desired product or the dominant product and the other is the byproduct. But in when we calculate atom economy, we are not interested in all the products of the reaction, but we are interested in only the desired product. So suppose out of C and D, C is our desired product. So what will be the aim? What will be our aim to calculate atom economy? We will have to see that the number of atoms present in A and B, when combined together, if they are present exactly in C. Okay, so if you start with 50 atoms of reactants, then the desired product should contain 50 atoms. Only then a reaction is going to be 100% atom, economically, atom-wise economical. Okay, and that D is the side product which we are not interested in. So in order to make a chemical reaction green, the atom economy has to be 100%. So that is the basis of atom economy. So what is it? It is a method of expressing the efficiency of a particular reaction in which the reactant atoms, they are incorporated into the desired final product. So as we are stressing on the fact desired, because as I said that if there are two or three products in a given particular reaction, we are not interested. We are interested in only one product. Okay, so that is the desired product. The main objectives of this concept is to develop new methodologies or design a new synthesis in which most of the reactant atoms become incorporated into the final desired product, thus reducing the byproduct generation. So what is it saying is that it is a way, so if a chemical reaction, you are synthesizing a product. Now, there can be a route A to that synthesis, and in that route A, we find that though the product is being made, but there is also the possibility of the formation of a byproduct. So, in that case, what we have to do is that we have to develop an alternative route to that same chemical synthesis so that we can minimize the number of byproducts and we can dominantly get only one product. Because if we can reduce the number of byproducts in a chemical reaction, then only we can make that chemical reaction green and we can achieve 100% atom economy, which is the aim. Now, as I said that often atom economy and percentage yield are confused with each other, but they are two very different things. Now, the percentage yield of a reaction is the actual yield of the product divided by the theoretical yield of the product into 100. But atom economy is something very different. Now, suppose here we have a reaction. This is a Grignard reaction where we have a aromatic halide and it is reacting with magnesium in the presence of ether. So it gives results in the formation of the RMgX, where R is this aromatic group. And then it reacts with the carbonyl group. And because the carbon of the carbonyl group is electron deficient in nature, and magnesium has a positive charge. So in a Grignard reagent, the carbon is always negatively charged. So this carbon has the tendency to attack this carbon, as a result of which it results in the formation of this, and finally it gets converted into alcohol. So what we see in this Grignard reaction is that a reaction which may have 100% yield. So Grignard reaction, if we calculate the yield, generally it is found that the yield is very, very high. It is nearly 100% because no chemical reaction can have exactly 100% yield, but it tends to have a 100% yield. But it may not be considered a green synthesis if large amount of byproducts are obtained. So what we can see is that this Grignard reaction, it has 100% yield. That is, yield wise, Grignard reaction is very, very efficient, because when you carry out this Grignard reaction, there is not much side products and the yield is very high. But what is percentage atom economy? Now, percentage yield is the actual product, amount of product divided by the theoretical product into 100. But what is percentage atom economy? Now, percentage atom economy is mass of the atom in desired product divided by mass of atoms in reactants into 100. So that is what I said, that in a given particular reaction, suppose more than one product is being formed. But out of all the products that are being formed, we are interested in only one product, that is the dominant product. So what is the mass of atom in the desired product divided by the total number of mass of atoms in the reactant? So suppose you have A plus B plus C, three reactants. Mass of the atoms has to be a combination of A, B and C. Okay, so we have to combine all the masses of different atoms and then we have to multiply it with 100. So percentage yield of a reaction and percentage atom economy are two very different things. So percentage atom economy can be better understood by taking a few examples. So now we are going to look into a few chemical reactions where we can understand the concept of atom economy. Okay, so this is the first reaction. Now, as we can see that this is a rearrangement reaction, as the name suggests. So what is this molecule? This molecule is allyl phenyl ether. Okay, if we calculate the total number of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the reactant, and when it rearranges at 200 degrees centigrade, it gives you this particular molecule, that is O-allyl phenol. Okay, now this is an alcohol and this is an ether. Now generally ether and alcohols, they are convertible into each other. They are isomeric because if you rearrange an ether, you can get an alcohol. So we are having an ether, and the molecular weight of this ether, what is molecular weight? That is, if we combine the masses of all the carbon, all the hydrogen, and the oxygen present in this molecule, then the molecular weight we get is 134.175 gram. Now, when it is subjected to a very high temperature of 200 degrees centigrade, allyl phenyl ether, it undergoes rearrangement reaction and results in the formation of orthoallyl phenol. Here also, if we count, we will see that the number of carbon atoms, hydrogen atoms, and oxygen atoms are same. So let me count and see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 carbon atoms. So let's count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the number of carbon atoms in the reactant and the product side are the same. Now let's come to hydrogen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 hydrogen in the reactant side. Let's see the number of hydrogen in the product side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we see that the number of carbon atoms on the reactant side and the number of carbon atoms on the product side are the same in this rearrangement reaction. Number of hydrogen atoms in the reactant and product side are also same. And in the reactant side, there is one oxygen, and the product side, there is one oxygen. So it is very simple, or as from a common sense only, we can say that the molecular weight of the reactant is going to be similar to the molecular weight of the product. So you see that there is no other byproducts in this reaction, and when a rearrangement reaction happens, any kind of rearrangement reactions in chemistry, because one structure gets converted into a different structure and ether is getting converted into an alcohol, then this is particularly known as a rearrangement reaction. In such reactions, molecular weight remains the same. Now, if we have to calculate percentage atom economy, then it is the mass of the desired product. Now, the desired product is the only dominant product here. So, it's 134.175 divided by the mass of the atoms of the reactant, that is 134.17 into 100, and this is 100. So, in chemistry, whenever any kind of rearrangement reaction takes place, whether it's a Diels-Alder rearrangement, any kind of rearrangement reaction that happens, what does a rearrangement reaction means? It means that the atoms are only rearranging among themselves. There is no gain or loss of atom. Because there is no gain or loss of atom, the total number of atoms that should remain in the reactant and the product side significantly remains the same. And that is why in a percentage atom economy is 100. So for any kind of rearrangement reaction in chemistry, percentage atom economy is 100, and that reaction is said to be a green reaction because you're not generating extra atoms, or we are not generating any byproducts or side products. So rearrangement reactions are considered to be very, very environmentally viable in chemistry. So this is the first reaction, a rearrangement reaction that we have taken in order to explain the concept of percentage atom economy. Now this is another reaction, and the first reaction was rearrangement reaction. As we can see here, this is an addition reaction. Now what is an addition reaction in chemistry? In addition reaction, two reactant molecules or three reactant molecules will combine to give you one single product. Okay, so we see here the example we have taken is cycloaddition reaction of butadiene, and it gets converted to cyclohexene. So butadiene is this particular molecule, diene, as it suggests, the name suggests, there are two double bond or two ene, and but means four. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are four carbon atoms and there are two ene structures, or there are two double bond. It reacts with an ethene molecule having two carbon atoms, and it undergoes an addition reaction to give you a cyclohexene molecule. Okay, so what is an addition reaction? It's a cycloaddition. Why is it a cycloaddition? Because the final product is a cyclic product. Okay, and as we can see that in this addition reaction, only one dominant product is getting formed, no other byproducts are getting formed, and that is why this is again a very clean and a green reaction. So we see that the number of atoms, let us count the number of atoms in the reactant side. So it's 1. First, let's count the carbon. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we see that as far as carbon is concerned, the number of carbon atoms on the reactant side and the number of carbon atoms on the product side are exactly the same. Now let's come to hydrogen. So you have 2 plus 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side. When they react, let's count the number of hydrogen atoms in the product side. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as per the concept of atom economy, the total number of hydrogen atoms and carbon atoms on the reactant side are exactly similar to the total number of hydrogen and carbon atoms on the product side. And we can see that the molecular weight of butadiene is 54, molecular weight of ethene is 28. If we add these two, then 8 plus 4 is 12, 1, 7, so it is 82. So the total mass of the atoms on the reactant side is 82, and the molecular weight of the desired product, that is cyclohexene, is also 82. So we see that there is no loss or gain of the atoms from the reactant to the product side, and percentage atom economy is 100%. So another reaction in chemistry which is very considered to be environmentally viable and it is considered to be green is a addition reaction. So any kind of addition reaction that happens in chemistry is environmentally viable because the percentage atom economy is 100, because all the atoms of the reactant are successfully getting incorporated into the desired product without generating any byproduct. So that is what is the significance of atom economy. It states whether a particular reaction in chemistry is environmentally viable or not. And if it is environmentally viable, we term that that particular reaction is a green reaction. Now, this is another cycloaddition reaction. So we have taken propene and it reacts with hydrogen. So this is a hydrogenation reaction in the presence of nickel. So what is happening here is that the hydrogen is getting incorporated into an alkene molecule to give you a saturated alkene. So propene molecular weight is 42 and hydrogen it is 2 gram. It reacts together and results in the formation of these propane where the molecular weight is 44. Okay. So what is the percentage atom economy? It is the total, it is the molecular weight of the product divided by the total molecular weight of the reactant into 100. So now as nickel is used as a catalyst during the reaction, it's fully recovered after the completion of the reaction. Obviously because nickel is a catalyst, it is not getting incorporated into the product in any way. So it does not harm the reaction. It is just a catalyst which is used for speeding up the pace of the reaction. But if you see again here that the total number of atoms in the reactant side is exactly the same as the total number of atoms in the product side, as a result of which we can say that here also if you calculate the percentage atom economy, it is 100%. So in chemistry, any kind of addition reaction, any kind of rearrangement reactions, they are considered to be environmentally viable because they are considered to having 100% atom economy. Now here we have a reaction and this is a substitution reaction. So what happens in a substitution reaction is that a particular group comes, it reacts with a particular moiety and another group goes out. So there is always a chance of a formation of a byproduct when we consider a substitution reaction. So here we have ethyl propionate and it is reacting with methylamine. So propionate means it's an ester. So C double bond O C2H5 and it is reacting with the primary amine or methylamine. Now what is it reacting and it is what is it giving? It is giving rise to a carbonyl compound and your ethanol is going out. Okay. So we see that what is the molecular weight of ethyl propionate? It is 102.13. Methylamine is 31.057. And here this is the product that we are getting and this is the byproduct. So the product's weight is 87.106 and this is the desired product of the reaction, right? And this is the byproduct. So molecular weight is this. Now, as per the definition of atom economy, we are not interested in the byproduct. We are only interested in the desired product. And that is why when we calculate percentage atom economy, we consider the molecular weight of the desired product. So here the molecular weight of desired product is 87 divided by the total mass of the atoms in the reactant side. So we have to consider the total mass of all the reactants, methylamine as well as ethyl propionate. So 102.13 plus 31.057 into 100. So it is 87.106 by 133 into 100 will give you 65.4%. So it's common sense that because in a reaction, you see that there are two products getting formed and we are interested in only one of the two products. The other product we are not interested in. So we are going to consider the mass of only the desired product, and in percentage atom economy, the mass of the desired product divided by the total mass of all the reactants into 100, and obviously that value is going to be less than 100. So in chemistry, any kind of substitution reaction is always going to have a byproduct, and because it is going to have a byproduct, it is not environmentally viable because its percentage atom economy is less than 100%. So what do we conclude from this is that any reaction in chemistry which has 100% economy, atom economy, or near to 100% atom economy is environmentally viable, and they are considered to be green reactions. However, reactions which has less than 100% atom economy, they are not considered to be green reactions, and for such reactions you have to have a alternative route in order to make it much more greener. So concept of atom economy is a very important aspect in green chemistry because it helps us understand that what aspect of a chemical reaction makes it green or environmentally viable. Okay, and as we saw that the examples of chemical reactions which make a reaction green, they are the addition reaction, any kind of addition reaction, rearrangement reaction, and substitution reaction is such example of reaction in chemistry which is not a green reaction. Now, this is the reference that I have used for making this presentation. And after going through this presentation, I am sure that everyone will be able to understand the concept of atom economy and why it is important in reference to the environment. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you very much.